A storm almost shut down America's 250th birthday celebration. Nanu alede. I was right there when the air show stopped and the evacuation order came. 850,000 fireworks were waiting. Years of planning. And for a moment, it looked like history was about to be cancelled. Nambokke agalla. You won't believe it. But what happened next? It wasn't just a show. It was a miracle. Stay till the end, because I'm taking you inside the most unforgettable night in DC history. July 4th, 2026. America's semi-quincentennial. Exactly 250 years since the Declaration of Independence was signed. It's a day that comes once every 50 years. A moment where time seems to stop, and a whole nation looks back at its journey. But for me, this was more than just a US holiday. I'm an Indian student here, and seeing this country celebrate its 250th, it makes you think about your own journey. You come here for the education, the dreams, but then you witness something like FreeDom 250, and you realize you're a small part of a massive story. We see these things in movies, but being on the ground, idu bere level. It's on another level entirely. So let's go back to how it all started. Swalpa context kottini, let me give you some context. 1776, the year it all began. A few people decided to write a letter to a king. They didn't just want a new country, they wanted a new idea. Freedom. 250 years later, that idea was about to be put on the biggest stage possible. The preparation for Freedom 250 took years. Every stage, every screen, every launch site was precision engineered for this one day. They wanted a world record. 850,000 fireworks. Imagine that. That's enough to light up the sky for the entire East Coast. I reached the National Mall around 5 p.m. Nimge gotu, the Washington summer is no joke. It was hot, it was humid, but man, the energy, electric. There were families who had been there since 8 a.m. American flags, face paint, veterans in uniform. It felt like the heartbeat of the country was right here. Then the air show started. This wasn't your normal flyover. These pilots were doing maneuvers that defied physics. It was insane. The roar of those engines. You don't just hear it in your ears. You feel the vibration in your stomach. It makes you feel so small, yet so part of the power. Everyone had their phones out. I was looking through my lens, trying to catch every glint of metal against the blue sky. Everything felt perfect. Until Swalpa Changetu. Around 5:45, the jets suddenly cleared the airspace. No more roar, just a heavy, thick silence. I looked to the west, and my heart sank. Those weren't just rain clouds. That was a wall of weather moving straight for DC. The sky literally changed color in minutes. Gray, then green, then black. Then the speakers crackled. Ladies and gentlemen, please seek shelter immediately. The word evacuation started floating through the crowd. I couldn't believe it. Years of planning. 850,000 fireworks ready to go. And now, the National Mall was being emptied. It felt like the party was over before it even started. The rain started. Hard. We were being pushed out into the streets of DC. Hundreds of thousands of us. It was a massive wave of people moving in one direction. I found a spot in a parking garage with a bunch of strangers. We were all standing there, wet, staring at the rain, thinking, is this how the 250th birthday ends? For 3 hours, DC was under a blanket of thunder and lightning. The news was saying the event might be cancelled. My phone battery was dying. Vibe was gone. But then I thought about it. In 250 years, this country has seen way worse than a thunderstorm. Wars, depressions, the mall has seen it all. They always find a way to rebuild. I decided right then, Nanu hoguala. I'm not going. I didn't come this far to miss history. I was going to wait it out. And then it happened. 9:45 p.m. The alert was lifted. The gates were opening back up. Freedom 250 is back on. The energy was like a light switch being flipped. We started running. We had to go through security again, but nobody was complaining. Thousands of people, soaked to the bone, but everyone was laughing. We had earned this night. Walking back onto that wet grass, the air was different, clean, fresh. It felt like the storm had just washed everything clean for the big moment. It felt cinematic. Around 11 p.m, the mall went quiet. The lights on the main stage hit the sky, and then President Trump walked out. The 250th Independence Day address. Regardless of where you stand, being in that crowd at that moment, it was heavy. Only one person gets to give this speech every half century. It was history in the making. He spoke about the 1776 spirit, the resilience of the American people, and the next 250 years. Thousands of phones were in the air, like a galaxy of stars. In that moment, you could feel it. This wasn't just a political event. It was a celebration of a 250-year-old experiment that somehow, against all odds, was still going. The speech ended. The president walked off. And then, the voice on the speakers said the one word everyone was waiting for. Fireworks. My heart was racing. Nimge gotu. It was time. And then, the sky exploded. 850,000 fireworks across 10 launch sites. It wasn't just a show. It was a wall of light that stretched as far as you could see. Idu bere level. I've seen fireworks before, but this was like the sun rising in the middle of the night. From the Lincoln Memorial to the Potomac, everything was glowing. 40 minutes of non-stop adrenaline. The sky was literally falling in the best way possible. At one point, I just stopped recording. I had to see it with my own eyes. The finale was so bright, it felt like daytime. 850,000 fireworks all leading up to this. The sound of 250 years of history shouting into the night. It was unforgettable. When it ended, nobody moved for a few seconds. Just silence. And then a roar from the crowd that was louder than the fireworks. We had seen history. We had survived the storm. In one single day, I saw air shows, a storm evacuation, a presidential address, and the biggest fireworks show in human history. It was a roller coaster, and I loved every second. 250 years. That's America's story. And this video? That's my story of one night in DC that I will never forget. Namboke Agalla. I still can't believe I was there. If you enjoyed this journey, hit that like button. It genuinely helps. And tell me in the comments, what's your favourite memory of a celebration? I read every single one. Subscribe for more travel, history, and real stories from an Indian student in the US. See you in the next one. Adios, and happy 250th America.